Here we are at lesson two. The triggers and emotions. This is one that I think a lot of men really struggle with because there's something about how men are brought up and taught that emotions are not what we think they are. It's almost like emotions are these things that are almost always discovered as or told as sappy or weak, but emotions are all of them. And we have to remind ourselves that these emotions can be angry, they can be happy, they can be excited, they can be, being pumped about something is an emotion. The emotions are just descriptors. It's just the word to define a texture of your mind and yourself. So what we want to do here is a little bit is just really we're going to explore the triggers that are underlining your emotions that contribute to your bad habit and make a plan for how you can manage them. So the first thing we want to do, and I could go on, and I'll probably rant maybe at the end, but first thing we want to do is define what these triggers are. Like, are these the situations that you're in? Like, I know that when I get antsy at work, I'll get up, go to the kitchen, and I'll reach for a soda. Like I'm telling you, like I'm just giving you an example. I'll carry this through the whole thing. And I'll be stressed out and I just want to get something fun, something cool. I used to snack, but then I replaced it with soda. Now I'm ready to replace the soda. I have a little bit of a hierarchy of getting rid of habits, but we'll get back to that later. Is it people? Do certain people stress you out? Do you go out and meet your friends and then all of a sudden you're drinking because, they're like, oh, here you go, whatever, and give you a drink, or be like, oh, come on, one won't be bad. Or you're like, no, I got to wake up early. And they're like, oh, come on, here, have a shot. And they just put a shot in front of you. Who knows? What are these triggers? And then also, is there time of day? I know that when I was drinking a lot, after work, I would want to go drink. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm done with work, ready to unwind, so to speak, and that was it. Now, what we do to kind of discover and unravel those is figure out how we feel. So when we go through our day, the next couple days in this week, we really want to focus on what you're feeling during these triggers. Like actually just stop and kind of pay attention. Like, okay, am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling kind of sad? Because a lot of the times the bad habits, they're kind of like masks. They're pacifiers for our emotions to bury them because it's uncomfortable. And, there's a lot of ways that we can manage them. We'll talk about that in a sec, but we need to notice what they are. If we can't notice it again, if we don't know where we are, we don't know which way to go. And the emotions are the root system. These are the weeds that we need to pull. And if you don't know where they are or where they're coming from, they'll just keep coming back. You got to define yourself. This is basic psychology. You got to know what you're at, and it's hard. And there's things that if you want to go really, really deep, you can get into shadow work and stuff like that. But I don't think that's necessary just to break a bad habit, unless it's a really bad one. Something with food can often be a really bad one that you might want to look into some shadow work more because it's so deep, because food represents so much. We eat emotions, and it's almost a thing that we need to survive. So it's a lot trickier than saying stop biting your nails or stop drinking soda. Food, like a bad diet, is a really challenging habit. So the more you are about food or necessary things in your life or necessary situations, the more you want to dig into this and figure out what those are. You got to list that out and write them out and pay attention. What do you feel? What's going on? And really nail that down. So I really am stressing that hard here. And then you got to figure out how are you going to manage it. So I figured out that, just not drinking soda, for example, doesn't do it. There's going to be some ways that you can manage it, and you got to think about that. You got to think really hard. I figured out Crystal Light. I'm fine with fruit punch and water. That's what I'm going to be doing. So on my journey here with you guys, I'm doing my best to kick the soda, or at least soda while I'm eating, and a lot of them throughout the day. But list out your own solutions that you think you can come up with. then you want to figure out some other coping methods in addition that are healthy. Now, these aren't ones that are necessarily new. They're kind of more like you might already do them, or this one, that one, like just appeals to you a little bit more, such as journaling, exercising. I actually recommend walking, but and then socializing. Now I'm going to go back to that one point real quick. Is exercise is great if you're already exercising and you do the gym, but if you're not, if you're a sedentary person and you're not lifting and stuff like that, you know, there is nothing, in my opinion, more important for self development than going for a walk. And then, like, you know, you can always go for a walk. Now, I'm not saying that I do it myself every time, but I know I can and I have. It's like, oh, well, what if it's raining? What if it's snowing? Yeah. So I heard a friend of mine, he's like, well, if it's raining, that's interesting because there's this freaking thing called an umbrella. Go for your freaking walk. Like, don't make these excuses. Walking isn't hard. You just go for a walk. You figure it out. Or, you do like fake jump rope in your room for like 10, 20 seconds. Just figure out something to change your state, to change your emotion. And you're shifting here. It's a subconscious shift. But um the next thing is yeah, assess your self-awareness and your self-care. So let's start with self-awareness. This is being realistic. Like, when that trigger happens and you're focusing on this emotion, you want to think about how exactly how closely are you representing your true self? Are you actually being like, no, it's fine. Oh no, it's whatever, dude. Like, that's not helping you. I don't care if you have this attitude. I get it. You can be a tough badass for sure, and you can probably might even be tougher than most people, sure. But if you have a bad habit, there's a weakness. So be the tough person and figure that out. Be truthful to how aware of yourself you are. If you're punching walls and you're angry and you just get upset, then that's a weakness. You gotta take care of how you're paying attention to yourself and bring back the control. And then the self-care. This goes into, like, just in general self-care of having respect for yourself. If we go back to that concept of respecting yourself and investing in yourself, that new one isn't going to make it. Think about it. It's this weird bank account of your new version. You're going to cash this in by the end of the month. You're going to become this. You're going to realize the fruits of their labor, whatever the phrase is. But so you want to keep thinking about doing this in a forward manner and, taking care of yourself, whether it's like relaxation. Okay, on Fridays, I'm going to watch a movie, work hard all week, and then, try to get really good sleep and focus on how you're actually taking care of yourself. A lot of times we don't go to bed early, and the more we need to sleep, the less we feel like we do because we're egotistical in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's the end of this episode, and I hope that you can really take care of this. Again, you want to just really figure out what are these triggers and how you feel during them.